Hey guys, what's going on? So, Henry Cejudo was asked in a video via MMA Fighting on SBN. The video is titled UFC 197. Henry Cejudo says UFC pulling Conor McGregor from fight was good discipline. I don't really dig Henry Cejudo right now. I don't know why it is, but I'm not a huge fan. He almost seems a little bit arrogant to me, but you need that as a fighter. You need that to keep going, so you push yourself and continue to grow and continue to get better. But yeah, he's just I don't know. But he was asked whether he thought the UFC did the right thing by taking Conor McGregor off the UFC 200 card, because this interview was, I guess, right after that happened. Which it all of a sudden just boomed today on Twitter. Yeah, Cejudo was like, yeah, it's great discipline. You know, if a fighter thinks he's better than any other fighter, or he's better than every other fighter in the entire UFC, it's good discipline to take them off the card. And honestly, that doesn't make any business sense, and I'm sure he was in the heat of the moment getting asked a question. I will link the exact moment that question is asked in the description of this video. But yeah, he was asked a silly question, and he was just, shooting the shit, so you can't really take what he said, right there as, like, a 100%, like, oh yeah, that's 100% his opinion, because, in the middle of a room with a lot of other people talking, he's surrounded by media. Who knows if that's honestly what he thought for real. So I'm not going to judge him 100% like I would usually. But, yeah, Cejudo, that doesn't really make any sense, though. Like, in all honesty, if fighters were pulled off the card because they thought they were any better than everybody else, which is not why Conor McGregor retired, that'd be a little bit ridiculous. There wouldn't be any fights. There wouldn't be any new pay-per-views. The UFC would stop. It would not exist anymore. Henry Cejudo wouldn't be fighting on the pay-per-view that he is right now, if that were the case. And, I'm pretty sure Cejudo knows that, and knows that what he said was a little bit out of left field. But a lot of people are giving him a lot of shit about it, and it's like, man, the guy's just in a conversation with a bunch of people from the media. He's annoyed with the questions, and I'm sure he was just like, here's my fucking answer, you know what I mean? But Henry Cejudo seems pretty arrogant, but during that question, he dropped that shit completely, because when, in the beginning part, if you want to watch that whole video all the way through, Henry Cejudo was, talking about how when, he was a kid, he was writing down in his notebook, I want to become an Olympic gold medalist, I want to become a UFC champion, and, he was saying it with arrogance, because, you have to have arrogance to become the best at what you want to become the best at. It's just that's just how it is. There's a lot of people that try to do it with grace, and they fell by the wayside, but, it's just, some people just take the arrogant route, and that's what he does, so, good for him. I think it's pretty entertaining. We need a lot more people like that in the UFC, in all honesty. At least my opinion, we need more people like that in the UFC. Sorry about that. But yeah, Cejudo, he made a good point. He said, it's good discipline on the part of the UFC. And it's not like he was like, oh yeah, Conor McGregor was completely wrong. That's not what he said. He didn't say anything like that. But, he had arrogance, talking about him as a kid, writing all that shit down in his notebook, because he heard from, I can't remember exactly what he said, but somebody that he looked up to said, write down your dreams and aspirations in your notebooks. But when he was asked about Conor McGregor, all that fucking arrogance went away immediately. And he answered it honestly and truthfully, so maybe he did think that 100%. But he wouldn't be fighting on the pay-per-view card that he's on if he didn't think he was better than Demetrius Johnson, because he definitely does, because he's been talking mad shit. Honestly, I'd have to say one thing. Cejudo's shit-talking game needs to be worked on. Somebody needs to get him a shit-talking coach, because he's going to end up biting his words one day. I can tell you that much, because I can already see it coming. He doesn't really think about what he's saying in the middle of saying it, so it's kind of weird. But I really like Henry Cejudo. But I'm going to go over the 197 fight card, just to get that out there. Jones versus Ovince Peru is obviously the main event. Co-main event is Demetrius Johnson and Henry Cejudo. Fight right under that is Anthony Pettis versus Edson Barboza. Honestly, I'm kind of interested in that fight a little bit. Anthony Pettis has been on a downslide, and Edson Barboza got beat by Cerrone, I believe, just the other week. And he was very gracious in defeat, so good for him. Hell, Barboza might do something awesome. Who knows? My personal favorite fight on this card, aside from Demetrius Johnson and Henry Cejudo, is Robert Whittaker and Rafael Natal. Honestly, I'm really excited for that fight because I really like Robert Whittaker. Anytime I can see him fight, I'm all for. He will become a top 5 fighter in the 185-pound division. I truly believe that. And then we've got Yar Rodriguez and Andre Fili. Or Andre Fili, rather, and this nigga's nickname is Touchy, so I don't like that nickname, bro. I don't know who these guys are, so that's going to be an interesting fight to watch. It seems like Andre is more with his hands, not as much, it seems like he finishes fights, is what I'm saying. He knocks people out 50% of his fights, so good for him. The prelims, Sergio Pettis is the final fight of the prelim card against Chris Salades. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Danny Roberts and Dominic Steele. That should be a good fight. Carla Esparza. I'm pretty sure this is her first time back in the octagon since like 2015. So that should be interesting. And Juliano Lima. I'm not sure exactly. Pretty sure it's Lima. And Glacio Franchot and James Vick. James Vick, goddamn, son. That's at 155 pounds, but James Vick looks like he needs to be in a higher weight class. He's got a Nate Diaz type body for 155. It looks pretty weird. So yeah, that whole entire pay-per-view and the prelims should be pretty good. So I'm gonna end up watching all of those, and I will give my opinion at the end of this, of this pay-per-view and prelim card, and I will tell you what I think personally. And I'll go over each fight if people want me to do that. But yeah, Henry Cejudo. You need some shit-talking lessons. I'm gonna tweet at you, boy. You better answer me, boy. I wanna know if you want some shit-talking lessons, because I can give you some, boy. See you later, guys.